All right, top of the morning to you. Should get some ambient light. Sun is rising over here on these mountains. Gonna be shining a light on Molokai over here, and bringing me some ambient light. Welcome to my channel, All Good Things in All Good Time, where it is always a good day to be alive. It's the only thing we have control of in our lives is our attitude, the response to all the things we cannot control. Cheers. Drinking my coffee black. If I was drinking my whiskey neat, it'd be Crown Royal, baby. Because America loves Canadians. And Canadians have a sense of humor. There's one person I know I can make laugh. It's somebody from Canada. It's always easy. Just like a local person. Anyway, if you thought today's news is terrible because of the Republican Party of crime and disorder led by the 34-time felon and a man with mascara and skinny pants, we've got trouble at the top, that's for sure. Anyway, thanks to that, the news is going to be worse tomorrow. No matter how bad it is today, it's going to be worse tomorrow. And I'm going to be here to share it with you. Because for me, it's therapy. But guess what? This is really cool. I'm taking a class in media. And the final is to do a project. And this news show of mine fits the criteria for my assignment. So this is now my homework as well. I'm going to get an A in this class because, this is like my 23rd episode. This is a lot of effort, a lot of time. But good for me. Seems to be getting my PTSD brain. If you don't know, I survived the line of fire. And this seems to be getting my wheels cranking, and getting, one thing done leads to getting other things done. And I'm starting to get control of the time it takes and to do this. And I'm now up on all of the news. I've already reported on everything that everyone else is still reporting on, and now it's just today's news. And if I do it often enough, it won't have to be an hour and 10 minutes. Sorry about those long news programs. And so, that brings us to the news, the god-awful news. Holy smokes, maybe I should put some whiskey in here. Some Canadian whiskey. All right. The Middle East. Thanks to Trump, just making sure Netanyahu had all the 2,000-pound bombs he could want, and Netanyahu's vicious disposition, he is just continuing to overnight bomb the shit out of whatever remaining buildings are there. I think the goal is pretty clear. They want to destroy every single building in Gaza, and they're damn near there. Trump, and with his desire to ethnically cleanse the entire region, after having dropped flyers that said, "We're going to move you all out and no one's even going to remember you." It's just such a whew. And so interesting. And just pure evil, yeah. And so Netanyahu just announced a planned evacuation process to actually start Trump's evil idea in motion of deporting 5,000 a day to I don't know where. Anyway, so that's going on. 40 people were killed overnight, women and children, of course. And Netanyahu just has cut off all electricity, which stops their water desalination plant. He's cut off all humanitarian aid, all fuel, everything that they depend upon just to scrape by and barely survive under starvation circumstances. He's cutting out all of that, just putting the squeeze on them. The famous director who just won an Oscar, who was brutally abducted and beaten yesterday, was released today. He's not dead, and he's not still in captivity. And it was because he got an Oscar. And so that's good. He's alive, and he's out, and he's telling his story, and that's what's going on and to be against genocide and ethnic cleansing is not to be pro-Hamas, and these dumb, ignorant, incompetent Republicans continue to conflate those two things, and then that's their weak excuse to do harm to protesters, right? Who are just against genocide. Like everybody. My God. I mean, more than 200 Palestinians have been killed for every one Israeli citizen that was killed in that attack. And the greater story here is, over time, like them abducting the director of the Oscar-winning film just 3 weeks ago. He was on stage getting an Oscar. Yesterday he was abducted and beaten nearly to death by 15 Israeli settlers, and then captured and released, right? And that sort of thing goes on every day, and has been going on every day. You know, they just keep, it's like you're just poking and you know, and so that's why it's kind of like a person who eventually just snaps, right? Like that, what Hamas did was just them snapping after being, you know, picked on brutally, a few people killed a day, here and there, and this conflict and that conflict, but never any major conflicts. And then and so when that happened, it wasn't a surprise, because you knew that, you know, a person or two, one or two Palestinians every day is abducted or murdered, and so it was horrible, but you could understand how they could have been pushed to going crazy enough to do that, right? And so now they've now killed 200 people per per person harmed, and of course the excuse is that you haven't released the hostages, so we have to level the last 10% of buildings left in your entire little country of sorts. Anyway, so that's what's going on there, and that's not reported, the daily death toll or any of the stuff. You just don't see it. There's a few things that are missed, you know. Anyway, that's one of them. We're attacking students because of that, right, and trying to deport students en masse that are here, amongst other groups that we're picking on. Anyway, people are scared. See the interviews. There's a lot of people being interviewed who are in all these protests, protesting Tesla, protesting USAID, the Heritage Foundation, the deportation of this person, the incarceration of Canadians, and other travelers. People are scared, and they're interviewed, and they're like, "I'm terrified," and you know, I'm so thankful in my own little world that I'm not dependent on veterans benefits or Social Security benefits or Medicaid, Medicare. I am on Quest. I've never been on any sort of like low-income medical care, but I have United Health, you know, famous for having its CEO murdered. I haven't used it at all. I hear that the dental is terrible, to the point where you wouldn't want to use it. Like a local dentist told me that the one person I can go to is thought of as a whack job. Yeah. Anyway, people are scared, and that you're gonna, and oh, and all the town halls, they're terrified too. You're just seeing it everywhere, which is really interesting. Stock market is of very high interest today in this show, and we'll be talking about that here real soon. It is just so gross seeing these Republicans trying to pretend to be fiscally responsible, and oh well, we're the champions of cutting spending and being responsible. Sometimes you just got to do it in a different way, and yet they've never tried to cut spending. You know, when they have influence on a budget, they've had influence on every budget that got us to where we are here. Every job they're cutting was created out of a need that was filled. It was like, oh, we need to meet this need. And so we created it, you know, with all the money we collect in taxes. Oh my God. And so, yeah, we're cutting $880 billion from, you know, $880 billion from what? Medicaid, and almost an equal amount from veterans benefits, and just destroying people's ability to interact, and people are going to start losing their social. They're already seeing Social Security benefits interrupted, cut. You can't go online or call someone. You have to go to the office, which isn't easy if you're walking with a walker, you know, or if you're, if you're bedridden, or if you're in a wheelchair, or whatever, if you don't have transportation. They're putting the squeeze on seniors, and that is brutal. And inevitably, many of these seniors who are just about to get their lives ruined voted for this, which is so sad. But I don't see this continuing. There's this really interesting fresh news story out of Pennsylvania, this funny district. It's funny. I've been there. I rode my bicycle across the United States through this area, Lancaster. Had a t-shirt that burned up in the fire from a bike shop called Cycle Circle. It had a yin yang as the symbol, you know. And those guys were cool to me. There was a drunk from the bar across the street, day drinker. It was 1 in the afternoon. He came over, he bought that shirt for me. And they worked on my bike for free. But around Lancaster, and what's funny about this area are the towns of Blue Balls, Burdenhand, Virginville, and Intercourse. All right, it's all right there. And it's so funny. This happens when you leave every city, but it's just so fascinating when you leave Philly. You know, you leave a big city, you get out on a country road, and, you know, within just a few miles, you go from big city to country road, country gas station, Amish, you know, getting pulled around by a horse, and horse shit all over the side of the road. It's an interesting contrast when you go east from Philly. But all those funny, and then one of the other funniest things about this region, all of southern Pennsylvania. If you haven't heard this joke, it's not my joke. It's a common regional joke. It's funny that some people from Pennsylvania never heard it, but if you haven't heard, there's this joke. You got Philly on one side, Pittsburgh on the other, Alabama in the middle. Anyway, in the middle there's this. I think it's because of the Dutch influence or something. There's one house after another they have more lawn ornaments than anywhere else in the country. It's crazy. They got this one, it's a glass ball, shiny ball, reflective ball, mirror ball on a cone. And that might be the centerpiece of their whole yard. Or there might be a row of them. You know, pink flamingos, gnomes, whatever, little statues, whatever you can imagine, man. More shit like that in the front yards of people's homes in all of southern Pennsylvania than you've ever seen anywhere else in the world. It's interesting, it's decorative, and it's funny. Anyway, it's also where I first saw lightning bugs. I've never seen a lightning bug in my life until there. And that was interesting. I thought I was hallucinating. Thought someone had slipped me some LSD for a second as I saw all these tracers everywhere. Why am I seeing all these tracers? And it was like, oh, those are lightning. I thought they were fireflies, but then I learned they're lightning bugs. And then I talked to some West Virginians, and they said, oh, yeah, they used to hit them with baseball bats as kids and smash them onto their finger and make rings or catch them in jars or, you know, torture them, kill them, and stuff like that. So, yeah, anyway, that area flipped a seat. For whatever reason, there was an open seat. They had an election, and in a very red area, a Democrat just won a state Senate seat. I think people are starting to wake up to the fact that while it might not be your favorite choice or the best choice, or if you believe whatever bad things you want to believe about the Democratic Party, it's really the only choice, and they're 100 times better than the Republican Party. No matter how bad they are, they could be 100 times worse and be voting for a Republican, right? And I think they're waking up to that as they're terrified about everything, right? Losing everything. People working in the schools losing their jobs. All the people working serving benefits to veterans losing their jobs. Veterans benefits getting interrupted. Social Security benefits. The Social Security workers getting laid off. In addition to, God, you know, planes. Anyway. All right. Let's move on. Federal judges are fighting back, and they're using words like we've never seen before, comparing, you know, saying things like, it's true, when we deported, during World War II, we deported German Nazis in our country back to Germany, and they were given far more respect than we are giving immigrants in our country right now. So, yeah, that statement was made by a judge, and then comparing this to the treatment of how we treated Nazis so much better than we're treating, you know, in many cases, just law-abiding citizens of the world who happen to be here just hoping to survive in their country. They thought they were going to die, and now there's a good chance they will. And now we're deporting. So there's the 500,000 to the 4 countries that were given legal status here that have been warned, you got to get out in 30 days, right? But there's also, I mean, just think about this, okay? 500,000 people just told you got to get the fuck out of our country right now. And so they're going to do everything they can maybe to do that, or they're going to try to hide, and it's just going to be chaos. That's 500,000 people on notice. You got to get out in 4 weeks now, right? So that's crazy. And not one of those persons is Mexican. How many Mexicans in our country are just like, holy shit, you know, we got to get out of here, or we got to hide, or we got to go, or and not show up to work. And it's so much of our labor force is just is terrified right now, and doesn't know what to do. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of good, wonderful, you know, Americans who have shining citizen status who are going to want to help these people, and some are going to be on their own, and it's going to be a bunch of people who are desperate, and I just don't see any good outcomes from that. In addition to the food supply getting to be less, the cost of it going up, etc. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, and Republicans have never been fiscally responsible. And now they're blaming all the things they caused on everyone but themselves, and they're saying they're the ones that can be the one to fix all the problems they caused. Trump added $8 trillion to our deficit in his last 4 years. Far more than any president in history. He was the worst for our economy in all of time. Oh my God. All right. And then, of course, Little Dick Johnson, the Speaker of the House, just made a terrifying threat, which he doesn't have the power to do, by saying that he's going to just eliminate districts, court districts, to try to control the judiciary, right, and skew it and corrupt it as much as he can. But that would have to be done by, anyway, he doesn't have the power to just do that. There would have to be a process, and anyway, that just happened. It is so gross hearing these liars lie, because we all know we have free and fair elections, or at least this last one may have been compromised by ZIKLAG, the deep state, which I showed you, ZIKLAG. It's the title of this thing, the seven. They want dominion, right? It's the way that Christianity corrupts their entire religion, gets corrupted by this notion that they need to exercise dominion over the earth and destroy it at will, at their pleasure, because that's what God intended for them to. No. Dominion as meant, they misconstrue it, meant we are the caretakers, not the destroyers, right? We're not supposed to blow up the mountain and take dominion over it. We're supposed to care for the mountain and the plants and the animals and each other. And so they want dominion, and they've taken control of so many of the, right, the science and technology, right? They got AI all mixed up, and they're taking control of church. They're trying to take control of education, control of all of those 7 pillars of our society. Anyway, and they succeeded. They created. There's this. Their whole plan is known, right? They distract by saying we got to go after the trans people, right? Trump just mentioned it again, and it's a non-issue. It's not an issue, but they make it one, just to try to divide people and make them think they're doing something smart, I guess, or something by being in opposition to it. Something that's not. There are 6 NCAA athletes in the country, trans. There's 530,000 total athletes. No one cares. It's not an issue. And Trump just talked about it while he was doing in Louisiana with the governor next to him and Little Dick Johnson next to him, and the South Koreans, because he's going to bring South Korea in to make a steel plant here. And that's, thanks, because he's so smart with the tariffs, which are the worst, dumbest economic policy ever. If he ever went to an econ class that he probably was a D in and was passed in, even though he failed, because his dad paid to have a whole building built at his school. If he'd gone to class, if he'd taken an econ class, he would know tariffs are stupid, because that's one of the things you study. We have free and fair elections, and that's just, so they're going to attack trans, they're going to attack the elections, and they just did that today, and that's part of the news. Another criminal executive order signed today is a nightmare. It's a nightmare for voting. They're attacking voting rights completely, disenfranchising. The number of voters in the next election will be so many less the way they're going. I don't have a passport. They require everyone to vote to have a passport. Half of them, 150 million. Most people don't have a passport. If you're required to have a passport to vote, women who change their names because they're married won't be able to vote, right? Getting women out of the way, because you guys are troublemakers, and now you're getting all educated, and that causes trouble for those piece of shit fucking ZIKLAG secret Christian nationalists who have taken over our country successfully. Every single one of their things is, right? They go after the vote, trans, and then they wipe the voter rolls clean as best they can, and they did that, and they're doing that. And then they create all that migrant fear. It's all distraction while they were ripping us off and trying to turn our country into a theocracy, which they just did. This country is no longer a democracy. We have an authoritarian dictator, and it's a theocracy led by secretive freaking Christian nationalists and white supremacists, freaking skinheads with hair. Pete Hegseth is a skinhead with hair. That's what he is. And did you see him? Okay, so he was on the tarmac. He's on the tarmac in Hawaii, and they come up to him, and they ask him about the truth, which everyone knows is the truth. And just like every Republican, when they get off a plane in Hawaii, right, they're like, "Is that my ass? Oh no, it's a hole in the ground. Shit, is that my ass? No, it's a hole in the ground," right? He couldn't tell his ass from a hole in the ground, and you could tell, and that's exactly what we see from Republicans. Every time they get off the plane here in Hawaii, they can't tell their ass from a hole in the ground. And he was no different than any other. He just didn't know what the truth was and just lied, because that's what Republicans do, and he's a piece of shit. And I think he'd probably had about 2 drinks on that plane, because or he's a little hungover, you know. If you're a drinker, you get pissed easy. And I think we're going to see him get pissed easy more, and they might sacrifice him. There's talk of holding him responsible. It's all his fault. And then if you haven't seen it all, there's testimony right now going on in Congress with the disgraceful group Ratcliffe and Kashyap Patel and Tulsi Gabbard. Oh God, Tulsi is just the shame of Hawaii. She used to seem like a normal person. But I swear to you, people who grow up in Hawaii, they think every young person thinks they know everything. But when you grow up in Hawaii and you think you know everything, this is a different world here completely than the rest of the world. Even though Oahu is a lot less sheltered than we are here, it's still a different world. And someone like her, gets the idea that she's, understands the world more than I think she really does. And, she needed to spend more time learning about it. I don't know. But I just can't imagine ever wanting to protect the environment, women's rights, voting rights, gun safety, children, education, Social Security, all that stuff that is what a Democrat is, and then decide you're just going to throw it all under the bus and stop caring about women's rights and all the rest of that, gun safety and freaking education, so protecting Social Security, and oh my God. And she was a woman who was in the military, and just a great combination of things. She could have been such a star in the Democratic Party, but truth be told, she had no soul, and she proved that's how you prove it to somebody. You go Republican. Oh God. And now, but the truth is, no matter how bad that Republican stench is of being an insurrectionist supporting traitor, you can remove it quickly, just like that, and start voting for someone that won't destroy this country and will take it maybe away from. We just married church and state and mixed AI in there, and these young dipshits think that, if we just put AI in charge of everything, that's so smart. Won't cost us anything, and AI will do a better job. And obviously AI is not going to do a better job, and we don't want that. We want people interacting, working, helping each other. Anyway, so, all right, let me move on. What's going on? So yeah, they're trying to rewrite our election laws unconstitutionally. Requiring women to use the name they were born with, but they can't because, and so women are going to be disenfranchised. People without, I'll have to get a passport. But I think there's an answer to all of this, and that is let them do all their assaults they want, thinking that they can rig it. But at the rate they're going, I just don't see how anyone's going to want to vote for them, let alone there could be a response of, I mean, they're giving us 4 years advance notice on women. You got to change your name, right, back to its original. What's on your birth certificate? You got 4 years to do that, right? I got 4 years to get a passport so I can vote if they're going to corrupt it to that point, right? And so, yeah. Anyway, oh, we got to put a citizenship question on there. You already can't vote if you're not a citizen. That's just performative, right? They just, everything they do is a fucking joke. Peter Thiel made some abrasive comments, talking down to everyone who's not an Ivy League person, right? And that's this great thing that actually all these ignorant fool Republicans who went to Ivy League schools have proven to us that you can go to Yale and Harvard and come out an abject moron, right? Like Ron DeSantis or J.D. Vance or Peter Thiel. I mean, it's, or Donald Trump. I love the part where they're like, oh, he went to an Ivy League school. He was the bottom of his class, and he was only passed because his dad paid for the building named after him with Trump on it. It's right. So yeah, bribes. It's bribe makers and bribe takers. It's all Republicans are. And then when you see Democrats capitulate, I'm pretty sure Schumer got a suitcase full of cash, or however they gave him his bribe. I don't know how it happened, but he just started speaking nonsense all of a sudden, and all you can assume is that, oh yeah, that's the game just got fixed because Republicans are the bribers of all time, and there's so much shit, dark money out there that you know that's what happened. Otherwise, there'd be no normal reason for Schumer to capitulate and make up a weird excuse like, well, Senate, he's 48% unpopular, but when it gets to 40%, that's when I know it's time to start fighting. Like, that's the weirdest thing anyone could ever say as a defense for why he did what he did. And what that says to me is he was bribed. Who could possibly bribe? A Republican? Yeah. Or any of the sick Nazis behind all this shit? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what it says to me anyway. Golf sucks. Absolutely sucks. Anyway, he's negotiating deals between for golf, between PGA and Live Golf, and he profits from all of it, and he's doing that from the White House. It's gross. I agree with George Carlin that golf is just unnecessary. It's bad for the environment. It's a waste of space. And the funny thing about it is, right, the golfers are under this illusion that they're somehow doing something super cool and that's elite and that's better than anything else in the world you could be doing. And it's only them that gets to do this here and, all that kind of shit. And it's all just a waste of time. Just a waste of your life. It's like, God, it's like spending your life playing video games, which I do myself, which is, I shouldn't. And there's no excuse for that, but it's just a waste of your life, and it's a waste of resources, and yeah, it's funny, but he lives in this little delusional world where he thinks that makes him cool and that he's having a good life, and it's just it's I think he's played 20% of his days in office so far have been playing golf, right? He's playing golf while his dipshit flunkies are bombing Yemen and broadcasting that to an Atlantic journalist. Man, anyway. All right, moving on. We got the tariffs and inflation. Inflation and tariffs and inflation. Coming fast. And consumer sentiment all the way down. I think we're seeing an inflection point. Stock market's down today, 34 points right now. I think it just hit a short-term bottom, popped up a little bit, but I think the overall trend is going to be down, right? And that's generally how it always goes, even when it's going down. And I think, personally, and it's just my personal opinion, I think this is going to be its last gasp, because I think the numbers are going to start coming in so bad. We've already been told we're going to take in 10% less in taxes this year because we've just destroyed so much so quickly, and we're giving tax breaks to all the people we shouldn't be giving tax breaks to. So is that the fiscally responsible party, the one that first thing they do is reduce the receipts that we take in by not taxing rich and people and corporations? I mean, it's and then we got the tariffs, and they're about to hit on the second, supposedly, as if there's anything's really going to happen. What a hassle for everybody who has to figure out what those percentages are, how to pay them, and all the rest. And it's going to drive up prices. We, the consumers, are going to pay for these tariffs. It's going to drive up inflation. And now, yeah, of course, all the other countries dislike us now for many reasons, including this one, right? Last time we had the Muslim ban on travel. I think we're all familiar with that. 37 minutes. I think there was a ban of 7 countries to come here. And there was uproar about that, okay? And then immediately Trump bumped that to 17 to some extent. And now he's making a move, as of yesterday, I believe, to 46 countries, banning travel to here from 46 countries, which, amongst other things, is going to have a negative impact on our airline industry. Airline stocks are probably a good short, although I don't recommend shorting, because that's kind of a great way to lose a lot of money, potentially. Because for me, it's about not losing your money as much as it is about making it. The most important thing is not losing it. And yeah, but I mean, obviously airline stocks are going to suffer. People are afraid to fly. It's not safe anymore because we have imbeciles, Republican imbeciles in charge of the Federal Aviation FAA Association, I think. Joe Rogan proves to be more and more of an idiot every day, and so are all of the comedians around him. And all the right-wing sickos. I mean, it's just gross. And he gives them all oxygen. And it's so nice to see him getting crushed by Midas Touch by 2 times, now 2 months in a row. He has half the audience of Midas Touch, which is hella cool. And I think it's dwindling and diminishing. I mean, only Craig has your... Oh, thank you very much. I shampooed it. You don't do that when you get long hair. You don't shampoo your hair all the time, every day. I'm learning about this stuff. It's a learning curve. But yeah, shampooed it yesterday. It's kind of fluffy, you know. But it's totally unkept. It hasn't been trimmed at all since it was short, as you've seen. I think I've shaved my head. Eventually, I'll probably be bald again. You know, it's all good. Or if I ever have a responsible job, I'll need to take on that conservative appearance, which pays better if I'm a server. If I work as a waiter again, definitely pays better to look clean cut, you know. But for now, I can be reckless. But pretty soon it's gonna be, because I got a little natural curl, I'm thinking I'm on my way to Farrah Fawcett hair. Yeah. A man with hair like Farrah Fawcett. Okay. So, God, these hearings we're seeing in Congress, if you haven't seen them, there's all these hearings. And it's just ignorance on display. Tulsi Gabbard's just an idiot. Radcliffe is maybe stupider. Oh, God, Cash Yap Patel. Notice he only had to use his real name in the hearings to get confirmed. Now he doesn't use his real name anymore on that plaque. It just says Cash. We all know his real name is Cash Yap. And I don't know why, and I'm just praying somebody in the media, on YouTube or MSN, any of them, any kind of media would just use his real name, his full name. And without doing anything, I'm pretty sure that will antagonize him. And that'll be fun to see. Although he's the FBI director, and that is a guy who will be weaponizing the teeth of the FBI against a whole bunch of wonderful, innocent Americans in ways never seen before. Aloha? All right, and then, so that's that. That's on display. If you dare watch any of these congressional hearings, it is just a nightmare of incompetence on display. And these people are in control of all of, Kristi Noem, the only woman because I have no skills in detecting a woman's hair extensions. I just have no clue. Other women can see them. But I can see hers. Hers are so bad and so obvious. And her little cosplay thing. It's funny, Jimmy Kimmel finally did what I've been working on that for a while, showing how she just loves to cosplay. She loves to be in whatever outfit she can be in for whatever purpose, for whatever picture shoot. I'm sure she's gonna be in a special outfit for the visit she's going to, that freaking gnarly prison where we sent innocent people to in El Salvador to go observe it, look at it. And while she's there, she should get our people out, all the immigrants we unjustly put there, and at the very least send the Venezuelans on to Venezuela. My God. And also the ones who were legally here working their way through the process, bring them back and put them back into their lives and their process. My God. Just a crime against humanity that gives people freaking nightmares and frighten. That's the shit that just hurts Americans' souls, to see our government violating the Constitution, violating the judge's orders, laughing in the face of justice and the judiciary process, which has a long history. The law, living with legal protections, is pretty important for a society, for a civilized world. And we are getting closer and closer to a theocracy. We are in a theocracy, away from a civilized world, thanks to those fucking ZIKLAG assholes who outlined their plan and they've executed it flawlessly. All right, moving on. I dream of having, I was thinking, so, man, what would be cool here would be to create an audience of, people who might someday want to try, because it's just good for your brain, okay? It's a good exercise, like homework. If I was to give you all a homework assignment, it would be see yourself as a comedian and try to come up with material that you could use that would make people laugh. And you all have some story that's funny, or jokes already that you've thought of maybe, or situations you could explain that you've been in that were funny. And, create a bunch of first-time comedians. And then my dream is to someday have a small place where comedy is performed, where there's no alcohol and my merchandise and laughter, and have people who've been watching my channel who've developed this desire and just have 5 or 10 minutes of material they've been working on for a year or two, come visit Hawaii and then perform at my little comedy club that I'd like to have someday. And anyway, that'd be cool. I was just fantasizing about that. But on that storefront, since Republican insurrectionist traitors who've taken over our government decided it'd be fun to legalize discrimination over the fake case. It was a fake case in Colorado over the cake, right? You can discriminate against gay people now. So discrimination is now legal, which means, idiots, didn't realize it's now illegal to discriminate against Republicans, right? If it's legal to discriminate against gay people, then why wouldn't it be legal to discriminate against Republicans? And I would love to have a sign on my future businesses that say no Republicans allowed. That would just be so fun. And I'd love to see that challenged in the Supreme Court. But you already have precedent. It's legal thanks to you. Anyway, Greenland, totally disgusting. Usha, J.D. Vance's makeup artist, was going to go there, but now J.D. Vance is saying, well, I'm going to go there too. And this dipshit Walls, who leaked the freaking top secret information about the evil our government wanted to do and did do, murdering many innocent people, women and children in the process. Oh God, it just blows your mind up, doesn't it? Anyway, they're all going. Walls, he's going to Greenland, in a highly aggressive move. The Greenlanders don't want them there. They don't like any of this. It's just gross. None of this can turn out well. And then, of course, we've legally made it okay for us to invade Mexico, and we've declared war on Venezuela. It's just incomprehensible, all the shit. And then we've threatening Canada, and now everyone hates us, and they're not going to buy our products, and especially Teslas. I think Tesla just had its last gasp. It is down today. Yeah, yesterday was, I think, its last gasp. They just pumped the market a little. Now it's time to dump. Anyone with any wherewithal is getting out now, I think. If you have any stocks. Anyway, or if you have 401ks, whatever, you expect them to go down. I think that's a fair assumption. There's all these idiots. I've been watching CNBC. All these idiots are still trying to say otherwise, and God. But nevertheless, we all know what's really going on. Everyone's terrified. Consumer sentiment's at an all-time low. Consumer spending will reflect that. All the layoffs, all the deportations, the tariffs, the supply chain disruptions from both the labor market and the tariffs and wait till these numbers start unwinding and stock prices start tumbling. I think 10,000 points can come out of this market because of the incompetence, the ignorance, the stupidity of an entire administration that doesn't understand shit about shit, and they wanted to turn our country into a piece of shit theocracy. And I think they've succeeded hopefully just in the short run. Hopefully they don't break what, these crazy ass theocracists want is they need Armageddon so they can bring fucking Jesus back. It's literally that fucking ignorant. Anyway, all right. What else? What else is there? The White House is threatening to sanction the law firms that have ever opposed them or that ever will oppose them, right? Because they're just trying to neuter everything that could possibly hold them accountable because they're committing crimes every day. Everything they do is a lie, it's a crime, it's a distraction, and now it's obvious even to many Republicans and people who weren't voting at all. You notice when the things you depend on are gone: Medicaid, veterans benefits, Social Security, your kids' free lunch, the food box you were getting from the food bank. All this is being cut so that we can give tax breaks to billionaires, and everybody knows it. And the deregulation doesn't sound good to anybody. That we all know that's just going to be more cancer and Cancer Alley, and they've knocked away all the lawsuits that were out there to protect people, and they've destroyed the consumer fraud protection agency. They protected us from fraud. And they fired all the inspector generals who were the ones who do seek the waste, fraud, and get rid of it, and corruption in everything. And it's just hypocrisy. It's crime on display. It's corruption. It's bribes just in the open. Those $5 million to go have dinner with Trump. Oh, the Biden crime family, they use their influence to make all this money. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. Republicans are the greatest hypocrites in the history of hypocrites, and everything they say is so awful and such a lie, and they try to cover up for this shit and normalize it. $200,000 for Easter. And then, of course, the ICE facilities are growing. It's the same sort of sickness that happens in mental illness hospitals, right? Where it's in the mental illness workers' best interest to keep you there as long as possible because they get paid based on that. Same with these detention facilities. They don't want to get rid of people. They want to keep them there because they get paid from that. They're all for-profit, publicly traded companies that are just, objectifying humans and commoditizing. It's awful, and it's what, God bless him, Joe Biden was getting us away from, these for-profit prisons. Yeah, so that's going on too, and I think that's just about all. There's going to be more bad news related to all these illegal, unconstitutional executive orders that have been spun out yesterday. But most noteworthy are the attacks on voting rights. This is how they're going to fix, when they say we're going to fix the elections. They're all going to be fixed from now. This is how they're going to fix the elections. How they are actively working to fix in addition to God knows what else they're doing. All the other things. The ZIKLAG, all the Christian nationalists, the billionaires who are skinheads, often with a full head of hair. Did Elon Musk scalp a 12-year-old to get his hair? How did he do that? I wouldn't be surprised. And these two guys, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, why would you want to be hated by everyone in the world? Everyone. No one. Tesla is such a god-awful brand. Nobody will ever want to. Maybe some, but I just don't see that company growing anymore. I see them shrinking, shriveling, hemorrhaging, losing money. Their stock price going down considerably. Entire countries have a grudge that's not going to go anywhere. The entire country of Canada, all of Europe. Those are pretty big markets, pretty big markets for Teslas. And then our country, their primary target audience are the people that won't buy them ever again. So which they've just done. They created a new target audience through targeting MAGA faithfuls that have any money left after they bought their gold shoes and their Bible and their NFT cards and their $100,000 Trump watch and their Trump guitar and oh God, $5 million for dinner. Well, thank you very much. You're so sweet. Yeah, come on out. I got a little more time here. Paying rent for the first time, and I think I'm good for a few more months. I've got a friend coming this month, which is cool. A friend who might be trying to move out here with his family with the anticipated hell coming. He's trying to save himself and his family. Anyway, we'll see. But he also owns and a house and lives in the district that's a red district in California. This guy, Chris Perry. There's a famous clip from a town hall that he didn't come to where everyone is pissed off in Nevada City. And that's where my great-great-grandmother is buried, and my great-great-grandfather, and my great-grandfather. And in City Hall, there's a map upstairs of the first city map that lasted for 150 years before they revised it, that my great-great-grandfather drew. It's got his name on it, right? In City Hall. The biggest wall hanging there is my great-great-grandfather's work. In other words, if I moved there, I'd be sort of an outsider who's got more family history there than anybody else. So I could use that to, whatever, be accepted, hopefully, and then unseat a Republican. If I could find like some, billionaire that wants to, they say it takes like 5 million. And I don't want to wage a losing campaign. So if some weird miracle, I got a Netflix special, I would immediately become a politician. And I got a free home to live in the area, and a residence I could take up, so that's convenient and easy. And thanks to a friend, I'm sure he would say yes. That's the guy coming in 2 weeks. But anyway, it's one of my many pipe dreams would be to take out a Republican as a politician. We'll see what happens. You never know. I wish everybody I watched on television, all my heroes, many of which are politicians, like Jasmine Crockett and Katie Porter, but I wish like Jesse Dollemore and whatever, all these guys who have huge audience. Brian Tyler Cohen, wouldn't it be great if he wanted to get into politics? I mean, run for office, Brian Tyler Cohen. You know what I mean? Midas Touch guys, people who have huge audiences, huge followings, are known by, nationally, who are smart, who think about everything, who know far more than I'll ever know about all of the issues and the history of every issue. We need more of these people, not only to be willing to report on it, but to want to get into politics, try to kick ass, take names, use their influence to give it a try. Anyway, I don't have a passport either, huh? The disenfranchised, so that's how they're coming in. They've just given us an outline. They've just explained to us how they're going to, fix future elections. But they're giving us 4 years notice. So I'm thinking, all right, finally, there's the reason I'd like to have a passport anyway, because I'd like to feel like I'd be free to go to other countries. Although now, if I go to other countries, everyone's going to hate me. So that's not cool. Except for maybe a cool Canadian. I would be so cool to go visit a Canadian who watches my channel. Or maybe go be, if I need to go hide. Like if we have a draft for men as old as me, to fight against Canada, I'll go hide at some Canadian's house maybe. Anyway, I don't know. I digress. Okay, that's all the news. It's terrible again today. It's worse today than it was yesterday. And tomorrow's going to be worse because we have a piece of shit for a president and there ain't nothing we can do about it for now, I guess. And if we do get a medical emergency, we'll have eyeliner, mascara wearing, skinny pants, douchebag, weirdo, J.D. Vance, who just looks maybe more frightening, if that's even possible. It's, oh God. And then third in succession, if there was a bunch of weird things that happened, would be Little Dick Johnson, and that's awful, awful too. So I worry. But we got the Wisconsin. Hopefully, we'll win in Wisconsin. We'll get a little bit of democracy back there in that judges race, and the two congressional races. I don't know. I don't know if they're national or state. I thought they were national. Anyway, I think there's two. Where are they in? Some other states. Was it Oregon or something? Anyway, so Oh no, Florida's got 2 congressional districts that there's elections coming up in. That, I mean, even in red places, I think red people would turn out to go against the Republicans right now because they're just doing so much harm to so many people on so many levels, and it's so obvious and apparent. And meanwhile, they're claiming to want to pollute us and give tax breaks to the billionaires. And yeah, thank you. Love you guys. All right, so my schoolwork is done for the day. I think this is like 23. I think maybe I'll start numbering these as I go forward. This is the God-Awful News, and I am Craig Hamilton Bradley reporting. In 4 years, if we're all still alive, I will start reporting the most wonderful news, or the greatest news of all time, everyday news, where the news gets better every day, right? That is our possible future. We can only hope and pray. In the meantime, all we can do is have a good attitude, eat healthy, sleep well, don't destroy our livers, and sleep regularly. We gotta get sleep, right? There won't be any more science for the next 4 years, but if there was, we would be reminded on a regular basis to sleep, eat, and exercise, and stuff like that. Oh, also, I forgot to mention when I was talking about, I know, oh, it is, oh my God, and I didn't know 420 is also Hitler's birthday, which is why there are people who are predicting that's when the Republicans are going to do martial law, but that's early. If they were smart, they would do martial law right before the next elections, or wait, and then they'll just keep them, I guess, until the next election, so they can't have elections, because they're going to try to never give power back, right? This theocracy, these Christian nationalists have seized power of all the different parts of our country, and the last few are media and arts, and they're creeping in there. Also, you find out who is a closet repugnant. Oh, great, repugnant. I like that. Repugnant. I was thinking about, because you don't go into the second part of the word, like Republican. You don't go into the ARD part of the R word, just R-E-T, Republican, or retardaclan, like the word K-L-A-N at the end. But yeah, repugnatin. Wait, what was that? Repugnatin? Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah, and like I wrote to somebody like who was like, oh, you can't join in there, can't be hateful back. It's like, oh, you kidding me? If they had us below the waist, we got to hit them in the kneecaps. If they break our nose, we got to crush their cheekbone. Of course, that is metaphorical, but that's how the resistance got to be. I mean, we got to take no shit and stand up for ourselves. And I don't think they have enough. That's right. Kick them in the ball. I don't think they have enough space yet, to lock us all up, although they're building it fast. And that's going to be what we're going to watch. We're going to watch just massive prisons built to house anybody who even has a bad opinion about them, because they're such snowflakes. And then they're going to force all those people into labor. And that's how they're going to solve the labor crisis that they're developing right now, right? With just prison labor, slave labor. Don't you remember when Lincoln was a Republican who was in favor of abolishing slavery? And now Republicans want to bring it back because they've changed. Those Lincoln Republicans are gone. Anyway, all right. God bless America and all you all and all the other people in all the countries. And I'm so sorry. And the Dow Jones is down 150 points right now. And NASDAQ is down 350. And Tesla is down 17. And yeah, I think we've seen what I think is going to be basically the peak. I doubt it's going to test boundaries much higher than we just saw. I think any The real smart investors are getting out right now, and they're going to wait. Like, it's great when your cash doesn't disappear, and then when the price of everything goes down 25%, you buy back in, right? You can own the same stocks. The only question is how bad and how long is this going to... Y'all are funny. See, you should be a comedian. Come someday when I have my dream little comedy club here. Bring your 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 12, however many minutes you want. I will give them to you. You know, and that's the one thing and then maybe it'll be the beginning of something, or it'll be the one time you ever did comedy. It'll be fun. I'll film it. I'll put it on my YouTube channel, and we'll develop comedy talent from the. But I mean, if you have a year, and it's good for your brain, right? Like, once I started doing this, the mental exercise, trying to think of funny jokes and funny insights and plays on words, and it's just a really healthy exercise for your mind. See yourself as a comedian, trying to make material all the time in your life. It's good for you, okay? And maybe someday I'll have my dream come true, and I'll have a place, and you can come here, and then you can write it off as like a business expense. I was going to do this thing, you know, like it was a job interview or something. Anyway, all right. I talk too much sometimes. I gotta go. I gotta have a good day. Look, it's gorgeous outside. I need to take a camera, put it out there so you can see that all day. And also, in case you take mushrooms and you forget to leave your house, you'll be able to watch the ocean all day. It'll be a safe space for you. All right. And just imagine, like I said, man, Trump selling dinners for $5 million. Dinner and dessert, or dinner in a top secret document for $25 million. Oh, we can only imagine all the actual real crimes that have gone on, and we know they are going on, and all the untoward things going on, like all this shit on this Signal app, which keeps it's outside of government shit, so that no one sees what they're doing. No one can ever subpoena their records. It is corruption right there on the face. Yeah, we all get to see it. And it's sad and scary, because these are the people who are in charge of upholding our rights, keeping us safe, keeping our country safe. And it doesn't seem like that's going on. And that's why people are so goddamn terrified. My parents were golfers. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. If you've ever been around golf, people on golf courses, I mean, it's fun, and you get this weird feeling when you're doing it, like, yeah, this is kind of an elitist thing to do, and, you know, hours out here and all this grass, and, you know, it's just sort of like, in an elitist way, it intoxicates people into thinking like they're the coolest people on earth, they're doing the coolest thing you can be doing, and it's a waste of your life, just a complete waste of your life. Everything else you could be doing is better than golfing. Anyway, George Carlin was right about that. He was wrong about it not mattering who you voted for, though. He was absolutely wrong. George Carlin. Yeah. It matters who you vote for, if you vote. So please try to vote, even though they're going to try to make it so you can't. And vote for the environment next time, especially you people in red states. Vote for your Social Security. We knew they were going to do this. How did you not know it? Vote for sane politics where we're not going after our allies and neighbors, cutting off our, cozying up to Putin. Ugh, it's gross. Anyway, all right. Like I said, I can't change being ugly, but you can stop being a Republican. All right, love you guys. And then of course there's the joke. I love to finish. I love to do stand up comedy, you know, whatever. Like at an open mic, you've maybe seen it. I do the whole set, no political jokes, but then the last one, which got me 500 thumbs up on Tennessee Brando. You know, this comment that you know, I may not be very smart, may not be very religious, but I thank God 100 times a day for giving me an IQ above Republican. All right, do no harm, do no crime. Thanks for watching All Good Things and All Good Time. Love you guys. Aloha.